Welcome everyone to episode 47 of the Pickleball Effect podcast. I'm Braydon.
And I'm Kyle.
We're in a new place again.
The Pickleball Effect studio.
People are starting making fun of me because I switch studios so often.
About as often as your co-host.
About as often as my co-host. No, this is an exciting one though. So we were renting that other place before. This is actually in my house.
Super convenient for you.
Super convenient for me, making you drive 25 minutes.
Yeah, the other place is 45 though, so not too bad.
You could start changing and charging me for gas now.
Yeah, 50 cents a mile.
But no, like this has been in the process for a few weeks. We wanted to upgrade from what we were doing at the Flying Pickle. You know, that was a good place to start. Then we were introduced to Matt's place.
Yep.
That was cool. But with that rental fee for that place, I was like, man, what if we just invested that into a studio in my house? We can record the pod here. I can do my talking head videos, make those look cooler. And I was like, let's just do it. I already had most of the gear anyways.
Yeah. And
just needed a few upgrades. And anyways, this is just the start of it. Like there's still a couple more things coming in the mail, but we're not far off. But no, like I'm pretty happy with how it's looking.
I think it looks great.
You got like this wide angle, like slightly distorted fisheye thing going on, which is like super creative.
We'll see.
Dink smash creativity.
Or we'll get trash on the comments.
Maybe.
That looks terrible.
Well, yeah, we'll see what they say. They're not afraid to tell us what they think.
No, I love our fans though, because I feel like most of the time it's very like constructive criticism.
No, 100%. And sometimes I think they do it just to make fun of us.
Probably.
No, but like one of the cool things that's come up a few times since we've started, especially from the very beginning, like people are cheering for us. They want us to do well. They're giving us tips. We've had several people reach out and like get on calls with us who are really good at podcasts, really good at video, give us tips. And like we're listening, we're taking it all in, and things have improved. It's gotten a lot better, and we really appreciate everyone commenting and giving us those tips because we need it.
I love it. It's funny because I didn't think our first podcast was that bad, and now I've gone back and looked at our first one we did together, and I'm like, okay, it was pretty bad.
But really appreciate everyone like reaching out, sharing your expertise with us, and cheering us on. It means the world to us. And one of the things I love about Kyle and I that we have going on is like we're so open to changing things up, trying to make it better, and feedback with each other and with our listeners. And so really appreciate everyone chiming in there because that's a big deal. And we're just going to keep getting better and better.
To the moon.
But no, we're going to talk about Aaron, the editor. That's what I'm calling him now in a bit. But he was giving me tips on this place. And I was telling him, I was like, Aaron, it's not quite ready for the podcast today. He's like, just do it, dude. Like people never tuned in for your production anyways. They just like what you say.
That's funny.
Aaron's the man, dude. Like he's, but I think matching the content with the production goes a long ways. And it's just a more enjoyable experience.
Mm-hmm. Even for us, like I feel like I'm more in the zone. Like it's just, it feels professional.
It feels pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
Like I'm like actually pretty proud of myself for where this is right now. Like I don't know what I'm doing.
You did a good job.
I'm just winging it. I just looked at a bunch of different podcasts.
Or you didn't do a good job. We'll find out.
We'll see. Yeah, here I am like praising myself like Braydon, calm down.
It looks terrible.
Okay, we'll give a shout out to our title sponsor here. Then we're going to talk to our MLP trip because that was a lot of fun. Some topics that came out of that. And then you got one item in Kyle's corner, nothing too juicy. Then we're going to talk about the Gearbox Ultimate, which is released when this is published on Tuesday. My full review is going to come later, but I'll get the highlights to that now. And then you have a diadem you want to talk about.
I want to talk about a diadem. Also, part of your Gearbox thoughts kind of rolls into Kyle's corner. I got more information on why it was being played with.
Okay. Oh, okay. And then one question I get every so often is, what is the difference? Like when a brand is making a paddle, like what can they do? What can they change to differentiate themselves from other paddles out there? And so I put together a list of 10 or so things that brands can actually mess around with and change to a paddle to make it perform and play a little bit differently. Because a lot of times you'll read through the specs of two paddles that look the exact same, but they play a little bit different. And it's like, why? What are the things we're not seeing that are not in the spec sheet that are changing performance? And so we're just going to go through some of those things because I think that's interesting.
Sweet.
But yeah, do you want to give us the title sponsor shout out?
All right. The title sponsor of this episode, Pick Performance Plus from No Apologies Nutrition. Again, it's an electrolyte. caffeine. It's using natural occurring B12 versus chemically synthesized, which is cool. They also harness the power of what they call the pickle science. So they're using what's in pickle juice that helps prevent cramping and stuff like that. It tastes pretty good. It's got a little tang to it. And I've been like anecdotal data. I've been taking it before I play every morning, like in the early morning stuff. I've been playing pretty good. I usually don't play very good in the morning. So take that for what you will.
Got to play good this Friday. We got Moneyball this Friday.
Money's on the line. So I will definitely be drinking my picked performance.
Double pick it. No, I've been taking it every day. I use it as like a pre-workout now.
Mm-hmm.
I was using Celsius. I started using this just because I like that it has a little more than just the caffeine for the pre-workout. Plus, I can use it again later.
Not too much caffeine.
Not too much caffeine. So I'll use it again later when I play pickleball. But there was a comment from one of our listeners a couple of weeks ago. They were doing some research on it, and they brought up the B12 thing that you mentioned, how it's like a naturally occurring B12 and not
the better version.
It's like better. And he was like happy to see that. So that was something I didn't even know about. It was kind of a confirmation to like all the stuff in here is legit. It's quality stuff. They paid attention to those things.
They did. And it actually just went on sale. It's $10 cheaper. So now it's only $39. And our code PEPOD stacks on top of that.
Sweet. Yeah, stack it. PEPOD. Yeah, stuff's legit. Go try it out if you haven't done it yet. I'm going to keep using it.
Yeah. And shout out to these guys. They actually let me play at their facility while we were down in Salt Lake. So that was cool. They had a nice court set up.
Yeah, I missed that.
They got a golf simulator. They got drinks.
Do you golf?
I mean, I can hit a golf ball.
Okay. That makes me sound like you don't golf.
I do not go. I have a set of clubs.
Okay. How did you buy these clubs or were they hand-me-downs?
No, I bought them.
Okay. Was it a set or did you buy the irons separate? Did you buy the driver?
I bought the 3-wood separate. I bought the putter separate, and then the rest was a super cheap set.
All right,
like the irons.
You're not a golfer.
Yeah.
Let's talk about our MLP trip. So we just got back from Salt Lake. We were both there. Tons of fun. Started on Thursday. Finished on Sunday. We ended up leaving Sunday morning. Oh, it's you coughing this week.
I know. You gave it to me.
But I just want to say thanks to everyone who grabbed us, said hi.
A lot of people.
And yeah, it was really fun and had conversations with us. Kyle's scarier in person, so I know it was really brave of them.
My favorite was like green hat, kitchen bag, Kyle and Braydon.
Yeah, he was like we were like walking by and he was like in the stands.
Up in the stands, yeah.
That was great. But yeah, there was a lot of people that said hi and we appreciate it. What did you think of the venue, dude?
I actually thought it was super cool. I thought they did a really good job. Obviously there's no way you could have an amateur event at the same time, but I thought it was cool. I think the stands could have been a little higher for viewing.
Yeah, I agree.
There were some small things I would have changed, but overall I thought it was pretty cool. It was nice and loud in there. Environment was cool, atmosphere.
Yeah, it got really loud. So it was indoor at the Kaysville Pickler. And I think that added to the like the loudness, the ambience, the cheering. Because like when you cheered, it was loud.
Oh yeah, like when Utah was playing, especially because it was in Utah, so Utah had the biggest crowd, and I felt like that place shook.
Yeah,
on every point,
big time. I was paranoid we weren't recording. I was like, my drink's in the way.
It's recording. I already checked.
Okay, yeah. I get so paranoid as I watch. I'm like, we'll check cameras here and there. And then, anyways, yeah, I agree. I think there could have been more seating. Like it got pretty packed a couple of times, but when you were, so they had the grandstand and then the center court. The center court had more stands on like an end and then on a side.
Yeah.
And then on one end there was nothing.
Yep.
And then on the other side was like the VIP section. So during like the peak hours on like Friday, kind of afternoon, evening, that was probably the busiest. Saturday was pretty busy in general, but Friday kind of afternoon was busiest. It got packed in there. They could have had more seating. And when you're on the second, third, fourth row, it was kind of hard to see.
Yeah.
You couldn't really see the full court. It wasn't really high enough to. I mean, you could barely see, but like it was annoying with the people in front of you.
Even VIP that day got pretty like packed.
Yeah. So we had media passes, then we got VIP passes like the second day. So Thursday we had the media, and that was pretty sweet. So like we got right. That allowed us to get like right on the court.
Yeah, center court, like right next to the court.
And you actually got some pretty sick stuff. You have, this is another layer of Kyle, is his photography stuff. Cause like you have an extremely nice lens and camera. You're very good at it. I tried using your camera and I was not getting the same stuff you were.
I see it's more than just an expensive camera.
Yeah, no, you're really good at it. And you started posting some stuff on your Instagram. So if anyone's interested, you can go check those out. I don't know, you were big on like the big emotional moments.
Yeah. I mean, that's the stuff I like.
What were you on the hunt for?
Like emotion. I like that more than, I mean, action shots are cool too. So I try to get a good blend of action shots, but I love like people's emotions. So a lot of my shots are like people screaming, and I haven't posted, but like people being sad. I got some pouty faces.
Oh, did you? I didn't see those.
I got like some Riley Newman pouty faces.
Oh yeah, he'll give you those.
Yeah, I got some of those. So yeah, I'm big on like I just want facial emotions.
Yeah, those are fun. So you have to share those with MLP?
So I shared them all. I tagged the Pickler, Major League Pickleball, all the players. Pickler collabed with me on the one that was just like faces.
Oh yeah. All the like the pumps, fist pumps.
Yeah, they collabed on that one.
Nice.
So, and then the squeeze shared because I did one for like the squeeze and one for Dallas, and
they all shared it.
Yeah. So
yeah, those turned out good. That's another skill you have that maybe not everyone knows about, and is really impressive. So I was riding off your skills on the media. Maybe we'll get another media badge at future events because your stuff is so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then I tried taking like some video, and I got one like pretty cool one of Annalie doing one of her like backhand poaches that I need to go and edit and kind of slow down when she hits. It might be pretty cool. But other than that, I was just
watching.
I was just watching.
It was fun.
But the media badges were sweet because we could get right in there. But your knees get tired when you're getting low, and they have like those little barriers you're kind of trying to sneak over. And
I knocked one of the barriers over.
Oh, stop! What happened exactly? So, I like kind of heard about this, but I don't remember this happening.
So it was center court it was Arizona Drive. I can't remember who they were playing. My lens hood hits the barrier and knocks it over into the court and stops the game. So then Andre has to like pick it up and walk it over, and he puts it back on for me.
Did he like give you a nasty look?
A little bit.
Like,
because it was like middle of the point, and it just like stopped it. I was like,
so you like set your camera?
Well, I put my camera there, and I knocked it.
I mean, if you're watching, like this lens is
it's
massive. Like you're setting it on the court barrier.
I was trying to set it on the court barrier, and the lens hood clipped it and pushed it into the court. And I was like, oh no. I was like, there goes my badge.
It can't be the first time that's happened.
No. I guess it happened the next day because I posted about that in my story, and then Dom was like, was that you today? And I'm like, oh no, we left today. I did that yesterday. Like, somebody did that today.
Okay, this sounds like a barrier issue, not a media man issue.
They need to attach it better.
Yeah. There wasn't as many media folks as I thought there would be. There was only like a handful, really.
Well, no, like the first 2 days, like I felt like there was like 4 of us.
Yeah.
Like, it didn't. The weekend there was definitely more, but yeah, I feel like there was only 4 of it, like not including the production crew, obviously.
Yeah.
But like third party media, I felt like there was only a handful of us.
Yeah. I at other events, I feel like there's tons of them. But yeah, this one, it was started off slower. Maybe, I don't know why, but for whatever reason, there was only like a handful going at a time. But yeah, so the media passes were cool. We went pretty hard with those the first couple of days. Yeah. And then the last day, we just kind of chilled in VIP and watched Pickleball.
Yep.
The VIP section was cool. So they have like some food back there, which is nice. So you don't have to pay for the meals. The seating, like that barrier, like where that thing where you knocked off, really gets in the way.
It's just even VIP should have been like 2 feet higher.
Yeah, like it's hard to see over that. Like
you couldn't see you couldn't see the court.
Yeah, next to you.
Side, yeah.
Yeah, you couldn't see the close side out of bounds line, even if you're on the front row.
Yeah, or
even any of the rows, you never really saw it. Like I've been at other PPA events where the seating is either higher or that barrier is just not there, and that part was kind of annoying. But you're right there on the action.
Yeah,
and it's pretty cool.
VIP is cool. Yeah, you're so close.
I mean, pretty much anywhere you're really close.
And then grandstand, you were super close without VIP.
Yeah, grandstand was dope. That was probably the best seat. Actually, it was on that sideline grandstand.
Yeah, you're like right there.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. I like when I'm cheering, I know I'm cheering too loud. I'm like, I probably could just talk normal and they could hear me, but I'm like screaming.
You got a few reactions out of it.
Yeah, there were definitely a few times where they're like, who said that?
You're like, yeah, pickleball.
Just generic terms. That was cool. Okay, and then I don't know. Do you think the VIP pass is really added to the experience? Like, if I was going to go to the next MLP event and you're choosing to spend $70 on a ticket or $150 on VIP, do you think it's worth it for the VIP?
I would say, like in that venue, like the amount of like pros we got to just like chat with, 100%. Like if that's what you want.
That part is pretty cool because the pros, there's like a player lounge, but I don't think they were hanging out in there. Most of them were hanging out in like the VIP.
Yeah, they were all hanging out basically by like the picnic tables or just like in the VIP lounge.
So yeah, your viewing experience, I don't think it's that much better per se, but yeah, you do get to hang around and chat with like the pros.
And I saw lots of little kids getting like I'm not a big fanboy, even though like I love these people, but like a lot of little kids were getting autographs and stuff. And like that's super cool. Like if my son was super into pickleball, 100% worth it.
Yeah. So yeah, that's a great point. I think it's worth it for that aspect. But as far as just watching, I don't think it's like any better seating or anything like that. Because I don't know, I feel like if you go to like an NBA or an NFL game and you get those like box spots or something, like the viewing and seating is all nicer.
Yeah.
I like they had like some couch type chairs and stuff, but because it wasn't like raised, it was like I didn't I wanted to stand or sit closer.
Exactly.
But yeah, that's a good take.
I'd say the food was, I mean, it wasn't bad, but it wasn't like anything to write home about either.
Right.
So,
but it was definitely fun to be back there, and it's not quite as packed because it during like the peak hours in the stands, like it was like
everybody was crazy.
There was some standing room. They could have added a couple more rows of seating and filled those up. I think pretty easy.
Definitely.
And like it was in the indoor, like, so they only had the 2 courts. Then they built the stands around them. There was some space behind the end courts where they had the seating. Like they could have built that up more if they wanted to.
Yeah.
And they probably could have, I think.
Budget cuts.
What'd you think of the play and just kind of, I don't know, just watching?
I thought the play was good. I mean, you don't realize how fast like Fed's counter is until you see it in person. Like that thing
it's different in person.
Oh man, like that counter is fast, and just the hands battles, they're just way faster than you think they are.
It is so impressive in person.
So like that was super cool. There were some good challenger matches too. It was just a lot of pickleball. Like, and I love pickleball, but like it was exhausting being there all day. It felt like work.
Yeah, I agree. So Thursday, I'm like really pumped. Friday, I'm like, yeah. And then Saturday came around. I was like, let's just
we sat in our chairs. Like we didn't even go to grandstand court. We're just gonna sit in VIP and watch.
Yeah. It is a lot. Like if you're a local and you can just come in and show up for a match, like one you're interested in, like that would be enough.
Yeah.
Like if you just watch one match, like that would. I mean, it's like an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It takes some time.
I felt like 2 matches was like my limit, and then I was like,
let's go walk around.
Silver spoon. Like,
yeah. Yeah. The all day, it gets a little, you just get tired. I don't know if repetitive, sorry, because like I enjoy watching still, but you're just not quite as into it. And like, I wonder if they did a more kind of like traditional league style where just 1 or 2 teams would get together rather than these big long weekends. And they just do like kind of like these satellite mini events and just pay for, you come for maybe a 3-hour thing for 2 matches rather than this huge weekend. Cause if you're attending the whole weekend, it's a bunch. But I don't know. I think that was part of the original.
I was going to say, I think that was the ultimate goal, was location-based teams
playing like they have stadiums.
Exactly. Like real, like the baseball team we have, like the Boise Hawks. Like,
yeah. I don't know if that's still the plan or not. I think that was a Kuhn
thing. That was definitely a Kuhn thing.
So I don't know if they're still going to do that. But after experiencing that this week when we were there all day, I can see how that would be like a really good option. Because I mean, if you think of any other sports event, if you go to an NBA game, it's a 2-hour thing. Like you show up, you're there for an hour and a half, 2 hours, and then you're gone. Like it's not
an 8-hour,
4 days in a row thing.
Yeah.
And you get like really invested in that match. You're cheering. You lose your voice after a game or after like a team event, and you're like happy after that. Like that was good.
Yeah, exactly.
I can go home now.
Yeah,
but
we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I'm curious what other people's thoughts who may have been there. Like, if they like the long event, just cramming it all in, or if the traditional league style is more attractive. And after doing that, I mean, I don't know, this is the first time I was like 100% spectating. Like all the PP events I've been to, like I'll go play, warm up, and then go watch a game. And then I go play and then go, like it's intermittent.
Yeah. Intermittent.
Intermittent. Did I say that right? And this is like you're dedicated to watching the whole time. And that's why I think it felt different from past like PPA stuff. But still still so fun, dude. It is something else to like be in person. It's so cool. Like
impressive.
you just forget how good they are. And like, I also didn't realize like how intense Anna Lee is.
Oh, I didn't either.
She like really, really gets hyped and into it and is getting like, she's very animated and you know, loud on TV, but like in person, like she's dialed.
Like bouncing. She's talking to herself like the whole time.
Yeah. Like she's locked in, and like the intensity level of different people is like really shows in person. And so like, so there's a lot of different personalities. Yeah, Anna Lee's super intense. Anna Bright's super intense.
Mm-hmm.
You got others who are more chill, like, you know, the Johns. I feel like, you know, like Loon's a little more relaxed. I don't know. There's a lot of different personalities and types.
And it shows through. Like, Tyson was cool in person. Sweatiest fist bump I've ever got in my life.
He's super sweaty, dude. Yeah. Okay. What were some like your favorite moments?
When Tyson noticed our shirt, that was hilarious.
That was so good.
So I'll put it up on the pod. But we had a shirt with Colin screaming at the Vulcan ball.
Yeah.
And Tyson's the only one that noticed. And he's like, "That's amazing."
Yeah. He was just walking by us. He saw it. He like lifted up our media badges. He's like, "That's dope."
Yeah. That was
great.
He
noticed. And then there was a volunteer that noticed.
Oh yeah.
Noticed mine. That thought it was funny. She was pretty in tune with everything. She knew what it was.
That's
and
good.
But other than that, I mean, it was kind of a dark image. You had to kind of focus to see it.
We had to like cut it from YouTube, and like it wasn't like if I would have taken the photo, it would have been very clear.
It'd been great.
Yeah. But that is a photo I 100% would have taken.
Yeah, that was a good moment. Oh, we saw the production truck, which was cool.
That was super cool. Thanks, Jordan. He let us into the production truck. I have a whole new respect for what those guys are doing to put this stuff on TV.
This is like the live TV production truck. Like when you're watching FS1, ESPN Plus, what you see is what they're making in that truck.
Yeah.
And they had like 20 screens in there at different angles.
It was crazy because they had one guy for grandstand, 2 guys for center court. They had like a whole team in the back of the truck just for audio.
Yep.
And these guys are like 4 to 5, 5 to 5. Like,
yeah. Each screen has like a number.
Yeah, it was crazy.
So there's like the main operator. Yeah, he's like switch to 5, put up this lower third, and he's just like, that dude is more focused than the pickleball players. Like
100%. In the zone.
In the zone. And there's literally like, there's got to be at least 100 different buttons. I don't know what they were doing.
It was crazy.
Looks like a Roadcaster times like 100.
1,000.
Yeah. And it was super impressive. It's like really, really cool.
It was cool. And it was nice and cold in there.
Yeah, that was helpful too. But
I bet you could get sweaty doing that. I think like if it wasn't cold in there, I bet you'd get sweaty.
Oh, yeah.
With like the equipment being hot and just
the intensity. You're sweating. That was sweet. And then we talked with the Dallas Flash guys quite a bit. So Ed, their GM, we were gonna do like go hang out one of their practice sessions. It didn't quite work out the way we wanted, because they were going to go to like this private court that ended up getting canceled. But that'd have been sick if we could have like hung out that private court while they were, and just like filmed them while they were warming up. And then they ended up doing like a practice session on like center court where we went and watched. But
we were already there.
Yeah. So, but anyways, shout out to Dallas Flash, Ed, that whole crew. The Johnsons are fantastic. Augie, Tyra, they just dominated this weekend.
They did. It was fun to watch.
Yeah, they're so good. And anyways, thanks to them. When we were trying to get connected with Ed, like he gave me his phone so I could type in my number and he could let us know like when their practice session was going to happen. And then I never got like a message from him about what their plan was. We showed up the next day and he's like, "Braydon, you typed your name in my phone, but you never put your number in there." It's like, I tried to message you, but there was no number.
That's great.
And anyways, they didn't end up practicing that morning, but felt like an idiot.
That's so funny.
Need some picks?
I do. I need a drink.
But yeah, lots and like the networking is always fun, chatting with different brands, different creators, and just hanging out with the people who watch our stuff and just talking paddles. Like I really enjoy that part of it. We
got to check out Stack, like their warehouse and how they do fulfillment and all that stuff. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, they're based out of that building.
Yeah, like the whole upper floor, like a whole section of the upper floor is like Stack's warehouse.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive. They got a good thing going. So I've been chatting with Stack Athletics. If you guys don't know who these guys are, they like make the jerseys for the Black Bears, a couple other teams.
Yeah.
And they sponsor a few players. They're like this kind of like Viore Lulu type quality stuff. It's their own. They're not like copies, but it's like that level of quality. Mm-hmm. And like really, so they have performance shirts, lifestyle, both men's and women's.
Yeah, court skirts, all that
court
stuff.
skirts, yeah. everything's really quality and it's really cool stuff. And I've been looking for an apparel sponsor. So I made a post on my Instagram story. This must have been like a month ago, saying, just asking folks like, hey, do you know people who could potentially sponsor me as as an apparel?
Yeah. Baby Gap was taken.
Baby Gap was taken. Unfortunately, they ran out of their budget this year. Although if they saw Indy, they might change.
Oh, I meant the shirts would fit you. Just kidding.
I wasn't chunky enough for them. They like chunkier babies. So they actually responded to that text. They're like, hey, let's chat. So we've talked a few times since then about a potential sponsorship, and it went through. So I signed a deal with them. So I'm gonna start wearing their clothes in all my videos and in the podcast. Like, this is one of their shirts. This is one of their hats. They hooked me up. They got you some sick stuff.
I got their shorts on right now.
They got 2 pairs of shorts. They got like their turnies and then their repeats.
Yeah, I got the turnies on.
You like the turnies? The compression's nice. Anyways, I'll talk more about it later. But anyway, really, like, I'm actually really pumped about this deal.
Yeah.
Like, they're a really cool brand. Definitely kind of fits my style. I'm really excited to kind of go push this, wear their stuff, and see what I can do with it, because I think the people are cool. Like, talking with all of the handful of guys that are doing that thing, their products are solid. They're like, it's not just like a graphic.
Yeah.
Like, they actually, like, you don't have to wear these just for pickleball. Like, they kind of brand themselves like as a pickleball like focus thing, but you can wear these for anything and they look good anywhere. And they're loud. They're not afraid to be different. Their creative's cool. Anyways, they got a lot of good stuff going. I'm really happy about this one. I think it's gonna be sick. So hopefully I can keep that going. But yeah, if you want to go check out their stuff, just go to Stack Athletics. Just Google it, you'll find them. And then my code 15effect will give you 15% off. So they do 15%, which is nice.
Nice,
because they are a little pricier because they're nice. But 15% off makes it feel pretty palatable.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, that was good. And then I just feel like things are moving up a little bit in general, like, for us. Like, the pod's growing. Like, we're doing this. We're up in the production. We've got some sponsors here. Aaron, the editor, made his first splash. His splash.
Yeah.
And like, a lot of stuff's starting to fall into place. And like, people are going to start seeing Pickleball Effect. Like, it's on the rise.
You're on track.
We're on track.
Yeah.
Like, things are happening, and it's like, it feels cool. It feels like that last video I did, or that Aaron edited. I never thought my videos would look like that.
Like when you started?
Yeah.
Ever. Well, you used to just use your iPhone and like.
Yeah, I started with my iPhone.
Yeah.
Did the Vegas thing.
Yeah.
Chris, Will, and John all convinced me / made fun of me
to get a camera.
to get a camera. So I started learning cameras, and then Aaron came on board, and like,
that's wild to think that Vegas was when you decided to get a camera.
Yeah, that was only like 6 months ago.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's not that long ago.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I was doing everything on my iPhone.
That's
and
cool.
like, just this really janky setup, and it worked.
Now we have mics and booms and headphones.
Yeah, now we're the real deal. But no, it's like, I've always said this, like, the content's always, people tune in for my, Aaron said it earlier, right? Like, people have tuned in for my content, not for my production.
They don't care what it looks like.
We'll level these up, and we'll get them matched. And I think that's only going to grow things. And then I'll keep that website pumping, because that I've always felt like that's been a kind of unique side of things for me. But yeah, things are clicking, and it's like, it's exciting.
I love it.
Okay. Any other thoughts about MLP?
I'll just give a shout out to Charles from Proton for hooking us up with the VIP pass. I have to say thank you to him.
Courtesy of AZ Drive.
Yeah. Courtesy of AZ Drive.
Yeah. He made a point to say this is not from Proton.
It's from AZ Drive.
Yeah, you're a Proton.
I know. I'm the Proton shill.
All right. Let's do Kyle's corner. You got a couple things here.
Yeah, so I actually found out more about this. Let me pull it up. I have a graphic that kind of describes how this money happens. So, new global pickleball tour. Oh, hold on. 1 second. All right, global pickleball tour to offer $15 million in prize money. So there's a big event that happened. It seemed like it almost went a little bit under the radar.
I didn't hear about it until you were telling me about
exactly. So Dubai, the big
they did this event in Dubai, like the launch event.
Oh yeah, big event in Dubai, press conference. There's going to be 500 events over 6 different continents.
Was this like a week or 2 ago? Like when did they announce it?
I think it was like last week.
Okay, so pretty recent.
Yes, like next year.
No, they announced it last week.
For this tour is coming, yeah.
It's coming next year.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So I don't know if you remember a long time ago, I like brought up that I'd read about a pickleball, like World Series, but there was like no
info.
That's what
being.
That's what this is.
Okay.
So they had like Caitlin Kerr out there, and then do you know who she is? Pickleball chick.
Yep.
Okay. And then like Megan Fudge and Ryler, and then 2 Australians, and they did like an exhibition match to like show pros, and there was like a bunch of stuffy investors watching. But
that'll be us someday, dude. Once we retire for Pickleball Effect,
let's be stuffy
investors.
I know. We want Pickleball Effect's endorsement. But anyway, I don't really know where this is going to fall in because that's a lot of events.
500.
And like PPA players are signed to PPA. They're not going to be able to play these.
Yeah, who's going to play in these?
I'm assuming APP players, but APP players have...
APP?
Yeah. So I'm kind of confused at where the talent's going to come from.
Are they going to do a lot of stuff in the United States, or is this mostly focused internationally, or they're going to try to develop international talent?
100%. This is a push to develop pickleball worldwide.
Outside of the States.
Pickleball worldwide.
I mean, because they're not going to find anyone in the States because they're all snagged.
Well, unless you're not signed and you think this is easy money.
So how much money did you say it was?
Well, it says 15 million total.
But that's 500 events, so it kind of shakes out to be...
It says 7.5 million in prize money across PWR tour events, 7.5 million across World Series events, 1.5 million record-setting purse for the first event. So the first event's going to be 1.5 million.
Oh, okay.
So like if you're not signed, you got to at least go to that one.
Got to, yeah.
So
I don't know. What do you think of adding like a new tour? Like, do you think this is going to work?
I don't know. Like, I do think it's good for the sport worldwide for growth. I do, but I feel like it's going to be washed kind of the talent. Like you're not going to get the best of the best.
Yeah.
So,
and like how much APP do you consume?
I probably consume more than most, but
is it less than PPA?
I would almost say it's equal.
It's pretty equal. For you.
Yeah. If there's an APP the same weekend as PPA, I watch them both. I typically will watch the earlier rounds of PPA versus just the finals of APP, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the APPs, they don't even...
They dream a lot.
Dream it until the finals.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, I definitely watch more PPA than APP. If there's a match I see that I'm like interested in that pops up on my Instagram, I'll go tune in. But I don't watch a ton of it. And I see myself watching even less of whatever this new one is.
Now you're coughing.
Now I'm coughing. And like PPA is making a push internationally. So like that's a competitor.
No, exactly. Next year's going to be weird.
Yeah. I wonder if they're trying to make like a legit thing or if they're just trying to get it big enough to sell to the PPA or something.
Possible.
But yeah, interesting to try to, I mean, I still feel like it's so early. Like it could work. Like if you're going to make a tour, now's the time.
Yeah.
Versus 5 years from now.
Pro pickleball, like pickleball's older. It's still kind of in its infancy of growth, but pro pickleball is like definitely it's in its infancy. Like, and we saw with all these junior kids, like pickleball in 10 years is not going to look like it looks now at all. We're all going to be terrible. Yeah. We're going to be 3-0s in comparison to all these kids.
But a lot of people thought APP was going to slow down when PPA was when they signed everybody, and they doesn't feel like they have.
No,
they're still going. They still get sponsors. They're still getting deals with TV stuff, and so
big deals too. I mean,
like that they seem to be moving just fine. So
and they crush the amateur. Like
they do well in the amateur.
Yeah, like APP's fun.
Yeah, the round robin to playoff I think is a great format for people traveling specifically.
I feel like you get your money's worth.
You feel like you get your money's worth, and even if I used to not be big on round robin, but I'm okay with it. I've come to peace with round robin.
You've accepted it.
If there's a playoff afterwards, I think cool.
That's the key. I don't like round robin and then just call it. Like it's got to feed into a bracket of some sort, and then it's like it.
Yeah, I used to think you could get screwed by getting put into a bracket of like, oh, maybe you just got the 4 hard teams. But like, if you're gonna win, you got to beat everybody anyways.
Yeah.
So just go do it.
Just knock them out first.
Yep. All right. paddle babble or
well, I have one other item, but it bleeds into your paddle babble.
Okay.
So we're going to talk
this in. Just lead us in.
Okay. So DJ Young playing with the Gearbox Ultimate.
Yep.
So this will be our first thing in paddle babble at the event.
Yeah, the thing we were just at.
MLP Salt Lake. So he was playing with the Gearbox Ultimate. Also, I have a funny story about that is Mo from the Night Owls. He said, "No, sir, not with that cheater paddle." But funny story is we were like, "Oh, he's with Engage." So like I brought that up. Apparently Engage dropped almost all of their pros. They still have Alex and Jesse. And I guess that's
so he doesn't have an Engage contract anymore?
No. So
he's in between?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't realize that. I thought he was just kind of tinkering.
I guess they did like a massive cut.
It's because Engage dropped their codes and I don't sell Engages anymore.
Well, that's what I was saying. I'm saying they're dropping pros, they drop reviewer codes, they're pushing for retail, so they're making some kind of play.
Yeah, I wonder what are they going for?
I'm thinking big distribution, like Walmart, that kind of stuff. Like I think they're planning to get into bigger Dick's Sporting Goods.
Interesting, but I feel like you need both, right? Like if you're going to go into those spaces, if you're not doing the advertising and getting the videos and stuff and reach from YouTube or where else, someone who walks into Dick's is going to be Selkirk. I recognize them. Those are the people that have brand affinity.
That's true.
Right? Like if you don't know what to buy and you walk into Dick's and you see a $200 Selkirk and a $260 Engage and you're like, I recognize Selkirk, I'm going to buy that.
That's fair. So maybe they're saving money for some marketing push.
Engage, bring your codes back.
You can still use like Pickleball Central codes.
Yeah, go buy your Engage on Pickleball Central. 10 effect, 10% off.
So that was really it for Paddle Babble. Massive sponsorship cut, and then the big world tour. There wasn't any drama at MLP other than Ben Johns just seeming like he does not want to be there whatsoever.
Yeah,
it's just
weird, wasn't it?
I have a video I might put up on the pod of him like they win a point and he doesn't cheer with his team.
Yawning.
He's like picking his fingernails and just like
he was really disinterested
while his team's like winning points. And I'm just like I would hate that. I hate it.
That would be frustrating if that was your partner.
100%. Yeah.
And there's a lot of people there's still teams that are very engaged. Yeah. Like why is he not? I don't know.
Well, it's
all the same they're all under the same circumstances, right?
Yeah, play. You're getting paid, play.
Yeah, it's gotta be frustrating for sponsors too, because people notice it.
Yeah. No, everybody
was
there
talking about it.
Exactly. It was like a hot topic. Like the Johns don't even care.
Mostly Ben was calling that way.
A little bit. Like even on the last point against I can't remember who they were playing, but like he didn't even look to see if it was out. He just went and tapped paddles. He lost. Like it's like, what? Yeah, it means the Pickleball posted
They lost a few times.
Yeah, and some of them like dominating losses, like 25-13, which is huge
really
in
weird.
MLP.
I don't know what was going on there.
They just don't care.
Yeah,
or they don't seem to care.
Yeah. Strange. I mean,
well, I know Ben doesn't like indoors, so there's that. I've heard Ben doesn't like Utah, so there's that. I've heard Ben doesn't like MLP, so he just doesn't like any of that. But it's
like as a professional athlete, he's essentially an entertainer.
Yeah,
that's what he is. Like that's his job. He's an entertainer. You need to entertain.
100%.
That's your job.
Well, yeah, and you are like the number one player in the world. You should be like the role model of pickleball.
I remember seeing quotes from people like Michael Jordan and others who are like, I show up every night. I don't care how crappy I feel, how tired I am, how sore. I go give it all because there's 25,000 people or whatever that just walked in the door to watch me play.
Yeah. It's your job.
It's your job.
You're right. That was perfect. You are an entertainer. You're an athlete, but you are an entertainer.
Yeah.
Because that's where the money comes from.
Yeah, that was unfortunate. I hope he figures that out.
So we'll see how that shakes out.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
Paddle Babble.
Let's keep going with Gearbox Ultimate.
Bust it out.
So I've got all the Gearboxes here. So yeah, full review coming later for the Gearbox Ultimate. This is in addition to their Pro Series. So their current lineup is the Pro Control and the Pro Power. The Pro Power one is the one that made all the waves, right? Like it was the first big power paddle. Oh man, when they were released like December, I want to say, of last year.
Sounds right.
They've been around a bit. This one is meant to be like in between the Power and the Control. But to me, it plays more like the Power. So it's 16 millimeters. Both of these are 14. This is the first 16 millimeter edgeless paddle they've ever made with their like SST core and the other like, foam stuff they do.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always thought, it's like, man, if Gearbox just made a 16 millimeter version of these paddles, it could be really good. Because like no doubt this thing rips, it pops, it can add some offense. The spin's there, it grabs the ball well, especially on like big drives.
Yeah.
But it just twists.
It does.
And it's a little heavier out of the box. It's like 122 swing weight. So it's heavier, it twists. So trying to add weight is tough because it's already heavy. And to me, the benefits of the power just did not outweigh what you lost in like the forgiveness and like kind of the control side.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of unique elements of this. I was like, because it feels soft, right? Like, which is really unique. Like it feels like a control battle and it's muted, it's dense, it feels good at impact, which you just don't see with like huge power paddles, right? Like the paddle techs and the Yolas all have that really harsh feel. The engaged pursuits aren't quite as juicy as those, but they do have a little more pleasant feel.
Yeah.
They're probably the closest, but I think these win in the category. Like it's part of what makes them unique is they feel good, plus the power's there. So this plays very similar, more similar to the Pro Power, though it does sit in between. It's not quite as powerful, it's not quite as poppy, but it's very close, and it's noticeably more forgiving, and it feels good that way. Like I didn't feel like I was losing points or it was hurting me too much. Obviously, like here and there, you like maybe a ball died.
Yeah.
Because it's not like an oversized sweet spot, but it's definitely better. And I didn't feel like the sweet spot was like holding me back too much, if at all. And so the sweet spot was a big improvement. And I think that's just because it's 16 millimeters. Something about these gearboxes are funny with their like their twist weights. Like the twist weights are horrible.
All of them are?
And all of them. Like these, it was like 5. This is like 5.3 or something. But like if I were to like assign like a twist weight where it is like equal to, I would say like 6.1, which is like a B&B Filth or like a Carbon 1X, something like that. It's kind of in the same realm.
Yeah.
The one like hang up on this is it's like very heavy. So 125 swing weight out of the box, which is high.
It's pretty stout, yeah.
And so if you're like averse to weight, then that's an issue. So out of the box, it does feel a little heavy. It feels a little sluggish. The balance feels kind of funny.
Mm-hmm.
And what's interesting is like it only weighs 8 ounces, but it has that 125 swing weight. So like the balance point is like super high on the face, like 10 points higher than like everything else out there, which is pretty interesting. So the slice butt cap's been a thing, right?
Yep.
So you can't put a slice on here because of the way.
Because it's like a molded butt cap, right?
Yeah. And so I ended up just wrapping tungsten around. I added about a ½ ounce of tungsten. And then I added my 0.5 gram here. So, and then the edge tape and over grip. So it's now a 130 swing weight.
Dang.
But the balance point dropped significantly, like we know. And I actually was managing it like fine. Like I wouldn't, obviously it's not quick and fast, but because it's poppy, you just have to meet the ball and it does the job. You don't have to swing it all. And it was actually like I could still accelerate through backhands. I was actually playing pretally good with it.
You played great with it.
Like we did the money ball on Thursday night. I played with my brother. We went 3-3, and I was actually really like I was surprising myself how good I was like playing with it, and I was like, this is actually pretty interesting because the pop and power is there. I think the forgiveness is now there, and then it just feels good. And so but the weight does make it kind of niche, like not for everybody, right?
Yeah, that's pretty heavy for some people that are very weight adverse.
Yeah. And then, anyways, DJ Young was messing with it at this weekend, like we were talking about. And I asked him, and he was like, "Yeah, like it's pretty good." And when you watch him play, you can tell it jumps off quicker. Oh, yeah. And he was leaving some stuff up and long, and he needs to adjust to it still because he said he'd been playing with it this week. I was like, "Have you like stressed it yet?" He's like, "No, I haven't played like a super high level game with the," and he just started playing and
the MLP doesn't mean anything, man. He's out there he's testing paddles.
Yeah. Anyways, I think it's interesting because it is more forgiving. The pop and power is still there. One kind of weird thing about the power is like, because it's heavier, you have to be able to swing it. If you can't, it requires more to swing. But like if you're a big hitter, like I'm going to give this to you this week and get your thoughts because you've hit it. You haven't.
I played a full game with it.
Did you play a full game with it? Okay. Did you have any initial thoughts?
No, I loved it. It felt way more forgiving than the other one, because I don't like the other one. The PPE, I don't like it.
Yeah, no, me neither.
Like the PPE, I felt like at the net, if you blast one into my chest, my counters go, like my block is going out.
It's either out or it like dies on you.
Yeah, it's just like, exactly. It's just like the difference between like a good shot and like a bad shot is just way too close. Where I felt way more forgiveness. I agree it was very head heavy. I would put weight in the handle. That would help. But I felt like it was a way more forgiving, and then you still have that like wild power that the Gearbox provides.
Yeah, the power's there. And especially in someone's like hands like you who can bring it, tone it or turn it up when you need to. I think the people who can swing big benefit more from it. They're like medium swingers or maybe folks who don't have that natural power. They're not going to get a ton of power from this because it's just heavier and it needs that force. Yeah. But like if you don't have natural power, like the pro power is going to give you lighter. It's going to give you more power.
You said this was 122?
The
swing weight?
The swing weight was like 122, yeah.
Okay.
It's a little bit lighter, but it doesn't require as much effort to get the power, whereas this one requires a little more effort to get the power. But if you have that, it gives it to you. Like it responds, it jumps, it moves. You can definitely finish points. But like for whatever reason, like I was hitting resets. Yeah. My drops were consistent.
Good. Your serve was at it. Like
my serve, you
were crushing serve.
It was causing issues.
Yeah.
Like,
you scored a lot of points.
I've been up in my serve lately with other paddles, but definitely was better with this. And it's kind of funny. It has a higher launch angle. You have to adjust to that. And it's easy. Like when I'm like blocking drives, it's kind of easy to float stuff here and there. And you have to be intentional about punching it down. But once you punch it down, it launches and takes care of stuff for you. But yeah, dude, you just keep it tight. And I don't know. Like when I first like saw the specs on it, I was like, oh man, it's heavy. It's like, dang it. But with the light of like all these kind of paddle modifications, we're learning how to do better now. It makes it more playable. And I still think it makes it sort of niche because of the weight. Yeah. And only a few people can really manage it well, or like less people can manage it well. But I don't think you just discard it because of the weight. I do think there's a place for it. And I like lighter paddles. I usually like 115 to 117 is kind of my like sweet spot.
It's like 15 points higher.
This is like 15 points. And I don't know, once I got used to it, like my elbow wasn't hurting. I didn't really feel the vibrations like you do with this sometimes.
Yeah.
And like I was playing pretty good with it. And anyways, more thoughts on that coming later. But I don't think people should discard it, but I do think it's not for everyone. But like, does it reach a wider audience than these? Like the original? What do you think?
That's tough because of the weight difference. I would say yes overall, I think.
I agree. I think it's more suitable for more people.
I think there's going to be people afraid of that weight, but I think, like you said, like a little bit of tape goes a long way.
Yeah.
Like just moving that balance point a little bit changes.
Yeah. It's so weird.
I'm like such a believer in slice now. So it's like,
I'm like, this is my first time really spending time with that, like that idea, just that idea of dumping weight in the head or the handle like that. And like, it works.
Yeah.
Mostly so Q said this on his last podcast or maybe a couple ago, and I totally agree with him. It makes most sense on elongated shapes because elongated shapes are longer, more head heavy naturally, and having that weight in the butt cap makes a difference and benefits it and makes it feel a little more natural with the swing weight. But on like a shorter standard paddle, those are like too light out of the box.
Yeah, they're already light, so you don't need to.
I actually add weight higher up on the head than like a hybrid or something. And so putting weight in the butt cap of like a standard or wide body doesn't make as much sense.
Makes it,
But on elongated, I think it definitely plays a role. Anyways, those are interesting. And I was very surprised how well I played with it. And then, okay, dude, Monarch edit.
So good.
How dope was that?
So good job, Aaron.
Aaron the editor. That is his official name. I think he will want to be known as Aaron the editor.
Just he doesn't edit the pod though. So if the pod's trash, that's my fault.
Yeah, don't blame Aaron.
Yeah, say disclose that.
No, you've been crushing it on the edits. Like you've been doing those like the shorts on Instagram that are fantastic. The pod looks. The last handful have just been like
they're doing good. It's fun.
They look great.
Like it. Yeah, we're doing so many that I'm getting faster at.
You're cooking through them.
Yeah. Like I forgot who I was talking to, but I was like, yeah, I edited in like 30 minutes. Like, you do that pod in 30 minutes? I'm like, yeah, man.
Yeah. Kyle's good. He's got electrical engineer keyboard fingers.
Yeah.
The coding fingers. But no, really, really impressed with Aaron and what he produced. Like that was the first review we did together. I wasn't exactly sure what it was going to look like. What he's going to give me. I'm like, I know Aaron's good. Because he had done a couple of those other videos for me. But this is the first review. And then when he sent it to me, I was just like,
You're like, everybody's gonna know I didn't do this.
Yeah. And I have no issues with that. And the best thing is when he sent it to me, he's like, Braydon, get ready to put the pickleball community on notice. And I think we did. I think we turned some eyes, and people are like, okay, what is Braydon doing?
Some of the comments,
who did he find?
I was like, is this pickleball effect, or is this pickleball studio?
Oh yeah, like that was Bill making that joke.
That's funny.
And anyways, really, really excited to like have Aaron. The kid is a stud, and really pumped about the future of what we're gonna do. So the ultimate will be with his edit again. So that's gonna be, we're shooting for Friday, Saturday-ish. We're gonna try to get it out on Tuesday with the launch, but with MLP, I pulled some late nighters trying to finish up stuff, and I just couldn't get it all to Aaron in time. But I'd rather get the quality than get it out on Tuesday. So that'll come later. Okay. Let's finish off with what brands can actually do to change the performance of their paddle.
Oh, wait.
Oh, you got something else?
Yep.
Oh yeah, the Hush.
Because now we're allowed to talk about it.
Okay.
The Hush.
Can you go buy this right now?
No, it's not out yet,
but you can talk
but we're allowed to talk about it.
Okay.
I got an email this morning, so we're allowed to talk about it. So Diadem released a new quiet paddle.
This is only the second quiet paddle. So you have the owls.
The owl,
this,
and then this.
And this, yeah.
Yeah, because the Vice, even though the Vice was quiet, it was not a quiet approved paddle. So they used the specs. It basically said it uses TPU for the core. And I know TPU from 3D printing. It's like a flexible filament. So I'm assuming that they actually 3D print this core. I'll have to get more details on that. But like if you feel it, it's really squishy. It almost has like a foamy corkboard type texture.
Yeah.
And it's quiet. Like you've seen it. It's
we hit with it last week.
So indoors you can almost not hear it. Outdoors it's a little louder, and this thing hits rockets.
Dude.
So we
freaking just bombs.
Yeah, we gunned it, and we let one of our friends who's got a pretty heavy spin, and we had him do it with his regular paddle. Was it 1900, 1800, something like that? And he hit 2400
with the
RPMs on this. So it absolutely rips.
And the spin is there. Yeah, it grabs.
Yeah, he hit 2400 RPMs. I can't remember what the serves were on this, but
they were big.
It hits bombs.
I mean, the second you hit a ball, you're like,
yeah.
Like that's kind of how I felt when I first hit these ultimates.
Yeah.
But when you compare that to this like,
well, this
just destroys it.
This is like all trampoline. Like, so,
which is kind of a weird thing with these quiet paddles, because they relax the rules to get it like quiet approved, which allows for more deflection, which is so they can use quieter materials.
Yeah.
But then it almost like makes it not as fun because it's so fast.
It's so and I'm torn because obviously it is too fast. But you have these community, and I guess in like Florida and stuff, there's communities that like you cannot play pickleball without an owl paddle.
So this gives you more options.
Yeah,
and it looks.
I think this is
than
aimed at like these.
It looks good.
These older. I don't think it's like competitive pickleball players. Like I think this is aimed at a market that needs quiet paddles in their community. So I see that. You don't have to swing very hard. So like an old lady is going to have a lot of fun playing without like throwing her arm out.
Yeah.
But you put it in the hands of like pros, and it would be like the fastest pickleball game you've ever seen in your life.
Yeah, that's kind of the interesting thing I wasn't ready for with these quiet paddles. But I'm surprised we're not seeing more quiet paddles. That was announced like a year ago.
Yeah. I'm sure there's some coming down the pipeline.
But yeah, this is like the owls came out immediately with the announcement. And then after like 6 months to a year, we're now seeing its first competitor. But it definitely looks cool. The face is definitely different. They built this differently from the owl.
Yeah.
Yeah, dude, it just.
I don't know what the price is. I'd give you the price, but I would assume it's Diadem. I'm assuming it's over $200.
Yeah, probably. Anyways, that was kind of fun to see. But yeah, those owls, or not the owls, they approved the owls for actual tournaments, and those actually hit harder too. Not quite as hard as this one, but they do hit harder. I wonder if they're going to try and get this one approved for field tournaments.
No way. There's no way that gets approved. That'd break the game.
Okay. So let's talk about what brands can actually do to change performance. So I'm just going to list these off, the stuff that I thought of, and then we can dive into a couple of these. But cell size is one. So you have the most common core you'll see is a polymer core. You can have like 8 millimeters, 10 millimeters. Like you have different cell sizes, which change performance. Typically, like a smaller cell is going to give you a little more, like a firmer feel, a little more power.
A little heavier.
Well, it's going to make the paddle heavier. And then if you open up the cell, it changes it a little bit. Then you can, the cell wall thickness is a thing.
Okay.
You can have thicker cell walls, which is going to change performance a bit. The number of layers is big. You can have 1, 2, 3, 4. I've seen up to like 6 layers per side.
Okay.
And then you can change like what those layers are. You might have 3 carbon fiber, 3 fiberglass, a Kevlar. So the number of layers, the material, and then the direction of the layers matters. Like if you have the carbon fiber running up or down, or there's a lot of different carbon fibers, like weaves, and depending on how that's laid up, like what directions, what types, changes performance. And then we were talking about this before, and you mentioned that you can actually change the thickness of the carbon fiber itself.
Yeah, it's like it was like the weight.
The weight,
Yeah. So would that be the density?
The weight or density of the carbon fiber matters. So let's say you have 2, I don't know what a normal density is. We'll just say 2 normal, and then you have like a 3rd lighter. That's going to give you a little more juice than like 3 that are just not lighter. So that matters.
Yeah.
And then you have the foam injection. You can have like more or less foam.
Yep. You know, like you can have that perimeter foam, but then now you have the cells being injected with foam has been a thing. I don't know if that's going to be illegal or not.
That's a thing. So yeah, like how you incorporate foam injection changes things. The weight of the edge guard, you can actually kind of mess with. You can get a heavier, lighter edge guard. So if you have a heavier edge guard, that's going to give you more perimeter weighting. So like if you can take away some weight from the middle, add a heavier edge guard, it's going to make it more forgiving. So there's some stuff you can mess with there.
So like Thompson, that was their idea with the urethane, that urethane edge guard essentially, because it's the wall that was to give it more perimeter weighting.
Yep.
Built in.
So there's that. And then you just have just the flat out quality of materials. Like there's, like everyone says either carbon fiber or T700 carbon fiber, but that doesn't always speak to the quality of the materials. And you just don't know until you start playing. Some materials, you can tell it just wears out faster when you play with them. And that doesn't always mean more expensive paddles are using more expensive materials, because there's a lot of mid-price paddles that are using nicer stuff than, but that is a factor, like the quality. And then there's the roughness or pill ply you use. So there's different types of pill ply. You can get rougher. When you're like figuring it out, you have like the numbers they use are like a 0.2 pill ply or 0.4, but there's different types of pill ply, and that's going to affect performance. We've seen a lot of people favoring rougher pill plies lately. And I think the part of the benefit of that is retail. Like if you just go fill a rough face, you're like, oh, this is going to spin more. But it doesn't necessarily mean, and that you will usually wear off a little bit quicker, even though you still keep some roughness. Then you have, another interesting thing about pill ply I've been learning about is it adheres differently, better or worse to different materials. So like carbon fiber is one of the better materials that pill ply like sticks and stays for. Okay. Kevlar, it took some development to figure out a pill ply that like worked for Kevlar.
Got it.
So I thought that was interesting. Then you have shapes and molds. So there's a lot of like really common shapes, right? Like you have your standard like square elongated, but we're starting to see people mess around with shapes more, like the Monarchs.
Yep, Monarchs unique.
Kind of have a unique mold. So you can get a custom mold made from the factory that costs like $2,000 or something. So companies can commission custom molds. Like the Fat Boys, that comes to mind, uses a custom mold, but not everyone uses custom molds. It's actually fairly uncommon.
Yeah, I was like the Mavericks uses a custom mold.
Mavericks, 6-Zeros Hybrid was a custom mold.
You're right. There's tons that are like just standard elongated shape.
Yeah, like you see the same 5.5 elongated. Like most new paddle brands will launch with that elongated 5.5 handle shape. So like shape, handle length, those are all things that matter a lot. The way you shape the paddle definitely plays a big role. You can get custom molds. I definitely appreciate people who get custom molds.
Yeah.
And then you have handle inserts. Like you have foam inserts, you have plastic inserts, you have molded handles, and that plays a role. Anyways, those are just the things I thought of different stuff you can tinker that are kind of behind the scenes that you don't show in the spec sheet.
Yeah.
And any of those you want to be like, okay, this one's the most interesting. I think it's when you're looking at like stuff that like really moves the performance, you have like the core, like quality, thickness, whether it's large cell, little cell, thick walls, thin walls, and then the number of layers and type of layers for the facing materials. I think those make the biggest difference. But then when you combine and tinker all of these things, it can really change how a paddle plays. And that's why we see just small variations across a lot of similar paddles, is something in that list is different. And we don't always know what that difference is.
Yeah.
But you just have to play with them to find out.
As a player, to me, the handle is a big deal. So like the foam injected handle for vibrations, or the molded handle to increase how rigid it is. Like, to me, that's what I feel first.
Yeah, when you grab it, like
Yeah.
Handles aren't perfect yet.
No.
They're better than they used to be, because like
way better.
2 years ago they were all just fat mongos. Like if you had a 16 millimeter paddle, you had a huge 4.5 inch hand, like, and it was blocky and horrible.
Yep.
They at least started trimming those and they feel better, but they're still not perfect. And I still think Head makes the best handles. And
Head does have a nice handle.
We've said this so many times. Every brand needs to go copy the handles they're using, because
they're molded.
They're molded.
Yeah.
They feel just so much better than everything else. But yeah, you do have like the plastic inserts or foam inserts. Do you have a preference for those?
I don't like the foam.
Yeah, they feel they're squishy.
Yeah, I don't like the I don't like, which is funny because I play a Hessicore, but like I don't like the squishy foam handle.
And those are probably the most common is the foam inserts. And over time it kind of like breaks down a little bit. And that's annoying. I've heard somebody call that handle crush.
Handle crush. Yeah. Actually, I read, it must have been one of the comments or maybe Discord or something. I saw the same thing.
Yeah, it's a thing. Yeah, the handle and like the roughness, like if you're at a retail store and you're trying to pick, like you grab the handle and then you feel the face.
No,
like
exactly.
That matters when you're at a
Like
retail.
that would sell a paddle. If you want to sell a paddle to somebody who doesn't know tons, make a gritty feeling face and a good feeling handle. Who cares what's in the core?
Yeah. A lot of those guys don't care. Yep. Those things matter. And then, I think that's kind of the main things you could mess with. And we're going to start seeing more variations in the core. Like we're already seeing Gearbox is one of the few brands that like actually does something super unique than everyone else, rather than like adjusting the things we were talking about. Like they actually have like a patented unique core that is all carbon, or has like the carbon fiber, like
rolls
right? Or beams, and then like some expanding foam in the middle. And then I don't know, there's like rubber bands or something in there. I don't know. It's weird.
Did you ever see the old video that they put out of like, because he's always had crazy tech in his paddle.
Yeah.
Like I remember when the Gearbox first kind of made a splash in pickleball, like he posted a video of like the rolled up carb, and it was so wild.
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're like one of the few that do something like totally different. But we're going to start seeing more stuff that way. Carbon's going to be the next one that has something totally different. So anyways, anything else before we close her?
No, we have a couple ideas for some next tests. Oh yeah, I think we should let these guys vote.
Yeah, what do we have here?
So let's ask them. Okay. So for our next test, like our wide body or Kevlar shootout, we talked about either doing a budget paddle battle. So we were going to set like a price range. What do we say? 120.
Under 120.
Yeah, under 120 would be it. So we'll battle all these paddles together. That could be a fun one. We also talked about doing like old versus new paddles. So maybe we'll just like select a year range. Like
old being like, do we 2020 paddles?
2020
versus
and
2020.
Yes, for like 5 years.
Okay. Not like old used worn out paddles.
No. I'm talking like old generations. I guess they're probably going to be used though, because we're going to have to acquire them.
We can go buy them.
You think we can still find those old paddles? Maybe.
Yeah, Amazon.
Okay.
They're there.
Yeah, so we're talking about doing like old generation paddles versus now.
Like, actually see what the spin and power difference
See what's happened over the last 5 years. And then what was the last one? Oh, we talked about trainer paddle battle.
Yeah, trainer thing.
So you guys say in the comments, tell us what you would want to see. And that's what we'll do next.
Yeah, let us know. And then we'll do that this Friday. One of those.
Yeah, we're doing after we win our money in the round.
After we take everyone's money.
I know you're watching, Jordan. Get ready to pay us.
Yeah, Jordan loves giving us money.
He does.
All right, well, that'll end it for us. Thanks for listening, Al.
Thanks.